it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get noticed, get heard on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, on today's show, The Entrepreneur's Journey, my guest is someone I've met a few years ago at several marketing events in San Diego. I can't remember exactly which events they were, but there have been so many that they just sort of blend in over the years. Now, Mario Fachini was born in Detroit, Michigan, and grew up in Harrison Township with his loving mother and father on the lake, where he had an abundance of fond memories. Now, Mario is a two-time #1 best-selling author of the book Video Marketing for Business Owners, The Ultimate 7-Step Guide to Become the Expert, Authority, and Celebrity in Your Niche, and the IWD Now Freedom Platform, the world's #1 system to build WordPress websites automatically. Now, he's also a sought-after national speaker, owner of IWD Now Marketing, and creator of the Freedom Platform WordPress website building software. That's a mouthful. He works with his private group coaching clients from around the world one-on-one through his Expert Authority Effect Masterclass training program. Mario also works with and has helped entrepreneurs from countries such as US, where he's based, Australia, Ireland, and more. Now, Mario helps these entrepreneurs increase their authority positioning, which is something you know I'm passionate about, and attract more of their ideal dream clients by getting published, getting publicity, and getting them profitable. Now, he does this by creating a strategic client engagement system with their messaging, publishing, video, and platforms that they use every single day that gives them clarity and focus in their marketing so they can stop throwing mud against the wall hoping that something sticks. Now, Mario is someone who just takes massive action. I recall one of the events we attended together. Mario was on one of the guest panels, and he managed to get up there through his massive action. Within 30 days of getting involved in the program at that time, he closed on 4 clients, generating $6,500 in one-time fees and $675 each month in passive income. Now, sounds more like a real estate deal than a marketing deal, but Mario will talk a little bit more about those coming up shortly. Now, on today's show, we'll get into much more detail about Mario and his journey into becoming a sought-after marketing coach and consultant. He's someone who is very well loved and respected in all of his communities he's involved in, whether they be personal or professional, and he's always the sharpest dressed guy in the room. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, I'll be joined by my friend and colleague, Mario Fachini. Hey, and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today, it's the Entrepreneur's Journey, where I interview successful entrepreneurs on their journeys through entrepreneurship, a journey that is usually filled with ups, downs, challenges, struggles, and if they've persevered enough, victories. Now, today's guest will share with us his ride on the road through entrepreneurship. Now, Mario Fachini is a two-time #1 best-selling author, owner of IWD Now Marketing, and the creator of the Freedom Platform, a WordPress website builder software. He's also a highly sought-after national speaker and works with his private group coaching clients from around the world one-on-one through his Expert Authority Effect Masterclass training program, where he has helped entrepreneurs increase their authority positioning and attract more of their ideal dream clients by getting published, getting publicity, and getting them profitable. So please give it up with some love, some likes, some shares, a flurry of hearts and thumbs going across the screen for my good friend and guest today, Mario Fachini. Hey, Mario, how you doing?
It's a great day to be here. How are you, John?
I'm doing excellent, thanks. And so you're currently located in Michigan?
I am.
Excellent. And what's the weather like in Michigan? The weather's always a topic of conversation when you live in Canada, because you're always looking for greener pastures, right? Warmer weather.
It's actually been really nice. Even a week and a half ago, there was people in the pool and enjoying the nice weather and everything. So it's been a blessing. Excellent.
So I'm not sure how many of the previous shows you've caught, Mario, but the first thing I like to do before we really get too far in the interview is called a speed round of questions. it's really, I'm just going to run through a series of 10 questions, just to answer them. First thing that comes to your mind is nothing that you needed to study for. So you're not going to be tested on this. We're not going to grade your answers. But what I'd like everyone to do is, if you're watching in the audience, and please play along with us by answering the questions in the comment field, and let's check out your answers and compare them what Mario has to say. So as always, feel free to play along. They're not really hard questions. It's just to get to know their guests a little bit more, sort of what they're into and things like that. So are you all set, Mario?
Ready to go. Okay,
so first thing is, name the book that impacted your life the most.
I would have to say the Bible, number one, and Think and Grow Rich also.
Nice. When you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush?
Oh, geez. There's been a few, but the first one that comes to mind would be Nikki Cox.
Nice. So what is the book or podcast or show that you're into right now?
Right now, I'm rereading The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay. And are you currently working with any coaches?
Yes.
And who are they?
Jimmy Harding.
Okay. What is your favorite movie of all time?
I would have to say Jurassic Park.
And are you currently involved in any masterminds?
Yes, with Jimmy.
Okay. And name a person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Jesus.
Okay. Actually, Jesus is a popular person. I've had a lot of people on the show that want to meet Jesus and have dinner with him, because we'll all meet him eventually, but have dinner with him. What's your favorite type of vacation? Is it beach or adventure tour?
Oh, that's a tough one. I actually just came back from New York for my nephew's wedding, and that was exciting because it was with family. It wasn't really a summer vacation, but it was very memorable. But I do love spending time on the boat and swimming and wave runners and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, excellent. What's the best business advice you ever received?
Take action.
Take action. You're a man of action, that's for sure. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But the last question, it's a two-parter. Would you prefer water, beer, or wine? And then pizza, wings, or salad?
Wow. I'd honestly probably have to say water.
And pizza, wings, or salad?
Pizza and salad. and wings, Parmesan garlic.
Just all of them? Just give it to me all.
That's a tough one. You can't make me choose. Yeah. Abundance, baby. We want it all.
Yeah. So Mario, for the people who don't really know you, don't know much about you, can you sort of give us your origin story? Maybe the next few minutes, just talk about sort of where you came from, just briefly into entrepreneurship, to what got you to where you are today in the next few minutes.
Sure. So I grew up in, I know people all over the world are watching this, so I say Detroit, Michigan, but whenever I say Detroit, Michigan, people are like, you grew up in Detroit. I grew up northeast of it on the water in a suburban neighborhood. I'd say middle-class family, middle-class surroundings, and it was really nice, and something that's dear to me is family and friends, enjoying it. I mean, you can do anything you want with your life, but if you're slaving away and don't have the lifestyle you want, what's the point, Yeah. You can't take anything with you. So I grew up on the water, and I love the water. I live on the water, and I'll probably never move off of it. Even if I were to get another place in Florida or California, I've already picked out places on the water. It's just fun to relax and everything. Now, growing up, I didn't really like school so much at all. And I was just telling my friend last night, she goes, what do you do? Because a lot of people ask me, what do I really do? Because, it's pretty unique. And what I do is help people increase their authority positioning by getting them published, getting them more publicity, visibility, and then ultimately getting them profitable.
Right.
And growing up, I have not postcards, grade cards, report cards. And it says, talks too much in class, has no self-control, doesn't show ambition, all this stuff. And it's funny because all this stuff that used to be a weakness that I hated myself for and everyone put me down for is now a strength.
Right.
So I used to hate authority. Now I help people build it. I never liked school. Now I teach a class.
Yeah.
And the talks too much in class really comes in handy for interviews like this, or speaking to audiences. So ultimately, what do? I follow my passion and dream and desire, and it was to have my own business, be successful, make my own hours, and help as many people as I can. And I did not see a job being able to provide that for me or my future family.
Yeah.
And so I just never gave up. Started my first business when I was 12, cutting lawns. But even at that point, I saw everyone else out on the boat having fun.
Right.
And I'm cutting the lawn. And I'm thankful for the opportunity, but as I got older, I was like, I want to be the one on the boat paying someone else to cut the lawn. So I started this business my senior year of high school and kept growing it. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say age or anything, but I'm going on, 15 years this May. So I'll probably always have it, and I'm sure it will change again. And people go, when did you start your business? I like to joke, I go, which time?
Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs, I mean, they get into entrepreneurship truly for a couple different reasons. One is their desired outcome is to have that freedom of choice, freedom of options, and freedom to do what they want, when they want, with whomever they want. That's truly what a lot of entrepreneurs set out to have, that lifestyle, and also to serve people, to help people with their unique and talents and gifts. So I truly believe that those are the two of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs get started in the business. You know, some of them it's about money, but more of them it's about that freedom, or being able to serve others and help others with their unique talents and gifts. So talking about entrepreneurship, can you tell us a little bit about really how you got into this? You said you started this from high school. So is that really when you started this business? You know, what happened? Is it still the exact same business? How has it morphed? And sort of what have you learned from that, starting that first business out of high school?
It's definitely not the same business. Okay. I think, and I was joking about when did you start your business? Yeah. I've ran it full time since 2008, May 2008. And I have to correct myself. It was actually February of 2002. I had said May will be 15 years, but I keep thinking back to 2008 because I was in high school and college, and I had clients, but I wasn't doing it full time, like full bore. So There's been a lot of starting points, and this is either 5, 6, or 7. It's like every couple of years, you know, things change and you got to change it. And I just look at it, go, you know, in the top of my mind is always, when I have a wife and kids, is this what I want to be doing 5, 10 years from now? Is this what I want to be doing? And the answer is yes, I'll always be serving and helping people, but it might not be driving around town. I had a goal one time of, you know, to be ambitious. I want to spend $1,000 a month on gas. And I have a Cadillac with a V8 in it. So, you know, it's not getting super eco-friendly, whatever. But I never was able to pull it off. It's a lot of driving, and the intent was not just to drive. It was to go to events and, you know, pursue business and all that. And now you can do so much through the computer, paid ads, go into your website, live casts like this. Yeah, you really don't even need to. No. So
actually, since I started this show, I swear I spend less on fuel now than I have in a long time, because you know, I spend a lot of time prepping for the show and getting ready for the show, and meeting with clients and meeting with people on Skype. And you rarely, you know, my house is an entrepreneur's incubator, so people come to the home to meet with me. So, you know, I don't go out as much as, you know, I don't have to go out and chase the clients or go meet the clients. They come to me. It's a good way to have it once you get to that position.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone watching this, you hear that, you want to save on fuel, start a business.
That's right. So you basically, out of high school, university, what was your first sort of gig? I thought I read somewhere it was video editing. Is that sort of what you got started doing?
Absolutely. And so I've always been interested in video, and, you know, back to the story of how I got started, I would have to say I think it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the Ninja Turtles. Now, when I was a kid, I was sitting there eating breakfast And back when the original Ninja Turtles were out, there was this little flip book, and I was just enamored with it because it was like my brain knew it was images,
Yep.
but when you flipped them, they moved. And I was like, I want to make something like this. So I started drawing. And I had a good family, but no one was like millionaires. So it was like when Nintendo came out, I didn't have it right away. When Sega came out, I didn't have it right away.
Yeah.
So I actually drew video games. And I have a stack of paper from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade that I would draw cartoons, draw video games, and draw all this very creative mediums I always was drawn to.
Right.
So when I wanted to start the business, I go, all I got to do is translate this into the computer. Well, as you know, even 10, 15 years ago, there was still a lot you could do with a computer. Maybe not from your cell phone, but you could use a normal camcorder, upload the video. I mean, geez, I remember when we'd have to sit there for 2 hours to upload 2 hours of video just to be able to edit it in LE. And so things have progressed, they become simpler and easier, but ultimately, like I tell everyone, if you have the passion and desire, I remember sitting there for 17 hours in the computer lab. You could do it in 30 minutes now, or even better, like I tell my class, outsource it. Do not do it if it's not your strength. Have someone else do it.
And it also goes back to the highest, what are your truly your highest leverage activities. Editing video is typically not one of your highest leverage activities. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow your business, that's a task, a skill set that you can sort of outsource to somebody else to do probably a lot better and a lot quicker, and it's going to cost you a lot less money having it done properly the first time. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you were faced with in your early entrepreneur days, and how did you manage to overcome those challenges?
Cash.
Okay.
You know how much startup I had when I'm in high school and college?
Probably none.
Close to that. So, like anyone, your greatest resource is resourcefulness.
Yeah.
If you really want to do it, you can't say enough of the right things to the you can't say enough of the wrong things to the right people, and you can't say enough of the wrong things to the right people. If someone wants something to happen, I just shared something on Facebook the other day, and it was basically like, if you tell me it can't be done, it's already a done deal. Yeah. Like, you've pretty much cemented it, and that's my attitude. So when people were like, you're bad at this, you can't do this, you can't do that, I was just like, keep watching. So it was perseverance, and I got creative with it. So first hurdle was teachers. It wasn't a hurdle. I really did. Now we're into college. I really did like my the MAC program where I went media arts and communication arts, and the teachers were great. They actually cared about the kids. High school, I couldn't say that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have time for homework and clients, so I persuaded the teachers to let me use my actual client work as homework.
Very
so
nice.
I was like, cool, now I'm not going to fail, and I can still keep the jobs, because I would have easily just stopped going had it been not for that, and I think they realized that. So then I started hiring people from class, because I was always working on businesses that they're driving by every day, and they're like, wow, how'd you get that? How'd you get that? And I'm like, wow, there's 24 other staff right here. So I frequently just bought them lunch, and they do the work, and I paid some of them, hired them on full-time afterwards. But it was just like, use whatever you have to your advantage.
Right.
And ultimately, how do you get cash to reinvest? You get clients. You go out there and you go provide a service. A lot of people have an issue with sales. You're not selling anyone, and it's not this evil thing. If no one made money, we wouldn't have the technology we have. Profit is a good thing.
That's right.
So all you have to do is go, here's my skill sets. Who needs them? And then when you find the right people, they're knocking at your door going, holy crap, can you help me? I don't even care how much it is.
Yeah, it's all about providing a service for them that's going to help them achieve whatever it is their desired goal is, and showing them the benefits that if they work with you, here's the benefits they're going to receive, and here's how they're going to reach their desired goal. Mario, so I just mentioned that you had developed the software for building WordPress sites automatically. So how did that come about? Were you trying to solve a problem for yourself or a client?
Yes.
Both? Absolutely. That's typically how it works. Is we have our own issues or challenges. We solve them for ourselves, and then it's like, hey, I think other people have this same challenge. I think I can sell that.
So ultimately, I would say it was 80-90% for me.
Okay.
I love systematizing things, creating leverage, because ultimately, like I said earlier on, wouldn't you rather spend time with your family than sitting here going, dinking around on a tinker box or whatever? So
Yeah.
back in '08, when I went full-time in business, I was taking classes in college, and it was primarily for video editing and Photoshop and all this stuff. And I was just trying to fill a block of time. This is how it was at the time, but looking back, I knew God was setting me up for bigger and better things.
Yes.
Because I started with web design back in like '99. Okay? So I started back when I was in high school. We were marching in the Hollywood parade, and I kept taking pictures. I've always been into photography and videography just to capture the moment. You can't predict the future, but you can capture the moment.
Right.
And before Facebook and all this stuff, everyone was going, can I have those pictures? Can I have those pictures? Can I have those pictures? Back in the days of AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. So I'm sitting here on a Sunday afternoon. I'm sending you 38 photos. I'm sending Victoria 38 photos. I'm sending Winnie 38 photos. Times everyone in 188 band members. And I'm like, this is nuts. I grabbed a pizza, was watching Con Air, I believe, and I was just doing the same thing over and over. I was like, this is stupid. So I was like, if there's a way I could send them to a website and they could just download them. So I taught myself web design early on. Played around with it for that use. Didn't do anything for 5 or 6 years. Kind of, I'm not a nerd or whatever. Got away from that, even though I am. And then in '08, there was this class, Dreamweaver, and I was like, I wonder what's going on in the game now. So I took it just to see what was up.
Yeah.
And at that time, I probably had 5, 6, 8 clients, and I go, oh my gosh, I can sell them websites. I was working with them for video and other things, editing, but I go, holy crap, I can sell them websites. So I, 2 weeks into the class, I started picking up clients. And then at that point, I got about 12 of them within 6 weeks early on in May, and left where I was working at the time. And it was the turning point for sure. So, but even on the first job, it was a pizza place. I have all the stats. It took 43 hours to build the website, and I was just like, it's 2008. There's got to be a faster, better way to do this. And it wasn't WordPress. I wasn't even aware of that really at the time. So I just made a list of things I would like to not ever have to do again in life.
Yeah.
And so I started making this list, and I kept thinking about it every time we took on a new client. And then in 2012, it was a breakthrough year for me. Business was good. I had a fair amount of extra money. I had some extra time, and just something right when I was publishing my first book, like everything was coming together, and I was like, you know what? I've gone from here to here to here. This year's awesome. Let's just make it that much more. I go, I'm gonna do it. So I had the idea for a couple of years, and 100, 150 clients that I helped without it. And so I took everything I wanted. I wanted the speed of a proprietary template system, but I wanted it to look professional, like the quality we were putting out.
Right.
So ultimately it was for us in-house, and I just started telling people about it, and they're like, you're joking. So I would tease them online, and like right now say, hey, John, check out this site. What do you think of the colors? You click the link, you check it out. You're like, hey, looks good. I really like the blue. I go, blue, what are you talking about? And I would change it on the fly. And you're like, whoa, what happened to the site? I go, I'm doing this live. And they were like, how can I get this?
Yeah.
So it wasn't intended to be that way, but quickly people were like, wow, this is powerful, and seems like I'm not the only one with issues.
So was it creating that product that led you into marketing? Was it your goal to market the product yourself, or was it something else that led you into marketing to actually become a marketing coach and consultant? So what sort of took you down that path to become a coach and consultant? I know that we've attended a lot of the same seminars and a lot of the same events down in San Diego. So what was it that took you from just doing the business, and was it that product that actually took you from doing the business to think, hey, I need to market my own product more effectively so I can sell more of that? Or and then transitioning into the marketing coach and consultant. Sort of, can you talk a little bit about how that all took place?
Yeah, it was all very closely related. And here's a real pro tip, big star this if you're taking notes. From 2008 to 2011, I was doing the same thing. And I was giving people advice and this and that. But coming from a school background and even in college, they are two totally different mindsets. So it was always, nickel and dime, if you can get any money, you're doing good, this and that. Mm-hmm. And it's just a bad way of thinking. It really is. And It's not to say anything that the people are bad, but there's nothing wrong with making profit because you can reinvest it. And if you still think it's bad, 10% of $1 million is a lot better than 10% of 30 grand, which is the average in college income out of college here, at least in the U.S., or 27 or something. Yeah. So if you want to get on someone's case about tithing and being charitable, when you have more, you can give more. You can do whatever you want with it.
That's right.
So the biggest thing was just going, I'm very knowledgeable. I just didn't see myself that way. 2011, one of my friends that I met through business, they knew I knew what I was talking about. And they asked me, and I'm very thankful for this. So September 2011, she goes, we're starting the entrepreneurial series. We'd love to have you as the speaker for the first one. And I was blown away because this was an organization that they attracted business owners. It was the Southfield Chamber. And I was like, wow. And I had really never done public speaking, but I was very confident with my ability. And I wasn't really shy. I had just never done it. So it was really a year before that I started speaking. But the surreal thing was, for the next year, more and more people asked me to start speaking, and then people started asking me for coaching. And my first coach I hired in 2012, I think that would be why I got into it, because I realized I knew what I was talking about. I wasn't a newbie. Mm-hmm. And everyone was always asking me for advice. They just never paid for it.
Right.
So all the projects I was doing, it was they'd hire us for the website or the video, and then you'd sit there and 80% of the project is like teaching them web design because they're asking all these questions, which is good and I was happy to help. But now it's like, do you want us to do the site or do you want to get coaching and training so you know the material?
Right.
So I was doing a little bit of this beforehand, and it was some of those first seminars we met at when I saw everyone else doing things, and it kind of validated, like, not only can you do it, but this is more the norm than sitting in a corner hoping someone can give you a little bit when you can be charging this, because I wasn't a newbie and I did know what I was talking about. I had to see it. You have to see it for yourself. And that has more to do with the mindset than anything.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it sort of opened up your mind. Being around a lot of like-minded people who are actually doing similar services, but they might be doing them in a little bit different way, and they're taking a little bit different approach to it. Really, but being around those people really definitely opens up a person's blinders to see what is possible out there and what people are willing to pay for. So Mario, let's talk about some of the marketing training that you and I have been involved with over the years. Can you share with us some of the people that you've learned from and the types of courses that you've taken to gain the education and knowledge that you have today? So, because I know, for a lot of people, it's important to continuously learning your craft and being working with some of the top people in your field. So can you just share with us sort of your journey and some of the people that you've worked with, and some of the different types of education and knowledge that you've gained that has really benefited you in what you're doing today?
I'd be happy to. Someone I'm very thankful for is Mike Koenigs. He really showed me, I loved his personality when I first met him. And I always had a dream and goal of speaking and influencing audiences and inspiring and all of this. And he helped make that dream come true back in 2012, May. I was speaking at the first event, and it was my first program. And he was talking about, video marketing and list building. And I was just drawn to it because, just like this with the live casting, I already was doing video marketing, the editing, the production, special effects. My goal actually in college was to do like Finding Nemo stuff, the 3D animation. So I'm very familiar with it, and it's really cool to do. So I started looking at it more in the capacity of business. Around the same time, I was also selling airtime for Comcast, which is a cable provider. And so I was always looking for ways, how can I take my skill set and turn it into business and serve more companies with it? So instead of just shooting the video and then knowing how to edit it, the companies were going, well, what do we do with it? So I had to generate ideas of, one of them was a sports store, the Point After in Detroit, that my sister and brother-in-law owned at the time. And they had in-store cameras, TVs, and then they put a monitor through the window outdoors with speakers. So people walking by, I go, well, why don't, instead of you playing music, we air in-store commercials to get people walking by to come in.
Right.
And then once they're in, you can have specific videos in the specific sections. And then they started doing TV commercials, and I got hooked up with them for the airtime. And everything I learned, I just found ways that would benefit companies and then just pitched it to them. There's something I wanted to share on Facebook, and it said, I got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one.
Nice.
And so whatever I learned, like I said, you just use it and turn it into something more that's beneficial. So Mike was sharing how you can use video marketing in a way that I hadn't really thought about before, but I was very open to. So he was one of them. Pam Hendrickson is awesome, and she was really talking about the products and how to design stuff. So this is going deeper and deeper into the training and the consulting, because you can say, I'm a consultant, I advise people, but the question is how.
Yes.
I got hooked up with Jimmy Harding, like I said, and he's the one who really showed me that, here's the best way to leverage your time and do different things. And Victoria Griggs, she is awesome. And if you want to get hooked up with Facebook ads, she's the woman to do it. And she helps me with mine. And we got connected a couple of years ago. And, there's so many people, there's dozens. And I have a picture of one of the events when I launched the Freedom Platform. And there's literally dozens of them. And I'm very thankful to all of them because, I'd say I had more self-image issues than anything. And it was dealing with that mindset.
Right.
And people just encouraged me, you can do it, you can do it. One of the biggest things was launching the platform, because this was like, another thing was publishing my book. I failed English like 7 times. So writing a best-selling book, it was basically like climbing Everest mentally. Yeah. So what I brought to the table was I actually, this whole time I actually did know what I was talking about. So people were seeking me out for the knowledge and my experience, and I was just like, why? In my mind, I was like, why are they coming to me? I'm 10, 20, 30 years younger than most of them. And
I don't think age really has anything to do with it.
Well, I realize that now, and I appreciate that, but that was the thing. There was more mental hangups, but once I got past those, so this is why I have such a passion for helping people, and not just helping them with a little thing. It's not that we can't, but I have the strength and ability to help with bigger things. So like you said, what's your highest and best use of your time? Mm-hmm. We can help in many ways, but if you're capable of more, Spider-Man, with great strength comes great responsibility.
Yeah. So I know you've been on panels. I've actually seen you on panels at many of the events I've attended. I also know that you can't get on that stage, on any of those stages, without taking some massive action and actually having verifiable proof of your success. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the panels that you've been on, and what action did you take that resulted you in actually getting on the various panels? Because I think action is really what a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs, they just, they're not taking that massive action, or they analysis paralysis. They think too much without actually taking action. So you're somebody that's been known for taking action, and it resulted in you being on stage. So can you talk a little bit about some of the action that you've taken and the success you've had?
I can, and I appreciate that, but I'm not doing anything special that anyone watching this isn't capable of. The truth is, I don't like working too hard. Okay?
Neither do I.
So I'm willing to do enough to get the result. Like if I can put in I don't even want to say hard work, because it shouldn't be hard. It should be smart, but you got to do it. I'm willing to do it for a short time. Like if I could invest a month or two to learn something, and then I'm pretty good the rest of the year. And, you know, I just want to keep moving forward. So I'm always willing to do it, but I consider hard work like just doing the same thing over 40, 50, 60 hours a week.
Yes.
Whether you're getting a result or not, that's just like highly, highly under leveraged. So I see it as I was just doing what I was supposed to keep my business moving forward. And it was honestly picking up clients. You know, you can say, oh, I spend 40 hours a week in my business, 50 hours a week, 60. There's this one, another thing, it was like, you work 40 hours a week? I remember my first part-time job, and it used to be like a badge of honor, and I was in this boat. One of my favorite things to say is stop the glorification of busy.
Yeah.
Back in high school, I was working multiple jobs, had 2 businesses, and doing all these things, and it's like, oh man, I'm so tired. I worked 40 hours last week, and I'm like, I worked 58. And then I remember I picked up a job at Best Buy because my friend was in this intern program when we were transitioning to college. He was like, well, I had 65, and I'm like, well, I got 3 freaking jobs in a business already. What can I do? Get a 4th job. Yeah. I just didn't want to be shown up or whatever, the competitive spirit. But the truth is, how much was I really doing? You can do more with, I'm not getting anything over, but you can do more now with a cell phone and a computer and an internet connection, sitting on a patio or at the pool if you have your mindset right. As far as taking action, you know, this is all fancy and everything, but if anyone wants to see my class, here's the 8-week training. Paper and a pen. Just do it. Don't worry about it. I put something in the private group the other day. I called it the monkey funnel because I was trying to describe an ad funnel and how the pieces work. And they're like, I go, are you getting this? And they're like, well, you know, I go, would you like to see it? I popped up Photoshop and literally scribbled on there just like that because we were doing a live training. Yeah. And they're like, wow, that makes so much more sense. I go, this looks like a monkey drew it. They're like, well, it's visual. So we called it the monkey funnel. And then a few days later, there was a professional one that we created, obviously. Yeah. But the point is, don't worry about it. You know, perfection is a failure disease. Get rid of it. You know, and for anyone considering doing a book, you know, oh, it's not perfect. It's not fully edited. Neither was Harry Potter. It was good, but they launched it. Yep. Have you ever heard of a first revision, second revision, third revision? That's why they make you buy all those college school books. They don't change anything but the commas in the cover.
Yeah, it's good enough to get it out the door, and that's what holds a lot of entrepreneurs back is they try to get it perfect before they launch anything, and they try to, you know, they worry too much about it being 100% before they actually take action. Where, you know, people like yourself and myself, you know, when I started this show, it's like, oh, I'll just turn the camera on, I'll do it. I've done some live casts before. I've been selling through live casts. But as far as this Facebook Live, doing a daily show, it's like, you know, I just didn't know exactly what I was going to do, what I was going to talk about. So it's like, oh, I'll just start it and see how things pan out. So if I had actually planned the entire show, how it was going to work, what I was going to use it for, I'd probably still be in the planning stage and still not be, you know, 10 episodes of pre-launch and then 22 full episodes later. I would still be planning to do the show. So a lot of people, I think, get caught up in that analysis paralysis in a lot of different businesses. So besides selling your software and working with entrepreneurs to help them position themselves so they don't have to chase clients, but rather have them chase them, can you tell us more about that process? So working with your private clients, so what does that look like? Sort of how does that roll out as far as, you know, you're taking them and helping them, you know, draw clients to them? Can you talk a little bit about how your program works and how you work with these private clients? Sure.
So I have an 8-week training, as you can clearly see on my monkey schedule there on the sheet of paper. But in all seriousness, the curriculum is set up in a fashion where it's accelerated pace because no one should be taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months to do anything. It's like get it done, get it out there. You can tweak it for the next year, but get it out there. Because people just having it out there and people knowing what you can do, they're going to be coming to you just because you're out there instead of the planning phases.
Yeah.
The other thing is how you're doing it. I like to use I was using one example, but I'm not going to get into that because there was a debate the other night and half the room hates either one or both. But Oprah is a good example of someone else with authority that I'd say most people like.
Yeah.
You can be out there invisible but not have authority. And there's a lot of businesses where they're really great at what they do. And I'm blown away. I'm like, how are they not more visible? Because they really are the very best of the best. But they don't reflect it in their marketing, in their messaging, and who they're looking to attract. They just, as far as the audience goes, they're not laser focused on who their ideal target market is.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, it's men or women. No. I mean like 100 layers deep. What's their income? What do they drive? Where do they live? What are their spending habits? What are their behaviors? They're not target focused enough.
I don't know about you, but I find that is a common theme with all of the either businesses or coaching clients that I work with, is they don't have that level of detail as to, they're not crystal clear on their ideal target market. So everything they do, their marketing, all their efforts are for naught because they're not, it's not going to resonate with the people that they want it to resonate with.
Yeah, so the first step is honing in on that target market and then getting the messaging right. Again, you might know the market, but if you're saying the wrong thing to them, you're going to be turning them off before they even check out your ebook or your video or your live cast or come to your event or anything. So there's a lot of psychological triggers. Again, what's funny is at one point I was going to be a lawyer. I also wanted to go into psychology.
Yeah.
And now, again, the strengths, the weaknesses from before are now strengths because the psychology, it's marketing psychology.
Yeah.
And as far as the case in being a lawyer, you have to build a case as to why someone should do business with you regardless of how much it costs.
Yep.
So many people are going, I have this for sale, will you buy it? Well, why? What's the benefit to me? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, please buy it? Really, please buy it? Yeah. I know how I'll get them. I'll knock 10% off. No, I'll knock 20. When you're trying to play that Walmart game, everyone loses except Walmart.
That's right.
They're buying in tens of thousands of millions of bulk. They can offer 10% off and still make 40% profit. Now, after expenses, it's a different story, but they make 1 to 2% profit. But they're on such a big scale, it's 15 to 20 billion a year. When mom and pop places and medium-sized businesses, even large businesses, to the average person, $1 to $10 million, those are considered small businesses by national standards.
Yes.
You're not going to compete on that level. You need to have high profit margins. Think about this. I say two things that are countercultural. One of them is don't be selfish. Now, what do you mean by that? You're the one being selfish, wanting the profit. Wrong. If you're not around in 3 to 5 years and someone's been with you for a year or two, what's more selfish? Are you serving them if you're setting yourself up for failure? Moreover, if you're not making profit, you're more stressed and you can't serve them at the highest ability. So one of the things I'm most thankful for, I'm always thankful for new clients coming on board, and I love what I do and the new way I'm doing it, which is just the last 6 to 12 months.
Right.
But, I also was helping last week a client from 7 years ago. Someone else just emailed me when I was looking before the show. They've been a client for 5, 6, 7. I have clients from a long time ago that were still doing stuff, and I'm thankful for them because they gave me the opportunity to build up and get to this point.
Yep.
And I'm also still around to serve them. You have to think long term. Where do you want your business to be in 5 or 10 years from now?
Exactly. So I believe you have a sort of a 7 steps to how to make clients chase you versus you chasing them download, right?
I do.
Do you mind if we give that away to people watching the show?
I would not.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put the link at the end of the show. I'll put the link in to get Mario's free download, 7 steps to how to make clients chase you versus you chasing them. You'll discover there's 7 hidden in plain sight steps to how to implement them right now. So we'll definitely include that in the show notes, as well as we'll put them in the comments of the video. So just a last question, Mario. Can you share with us some of the success stories of some of your clients without getting into too specific? What challenges were they facing before they met you? What did you do to help them out, and how has it changed their business?
I absolutely can. And like I said, I love working with everyone I work with now. And one of my favorite success stories to this point is my client from Grand Rapids, Michigan, who was a referral from a friend. And she came to me a couple of years ago. She wanted to, get more visibility, publish her book, and launch her business. And I go, okay, I can help. I knew all this, but it wasn't until the first phone call when she's telling me the reason why. And on that call, she's going, I'd love to. Now this is May, okay? This is May 2014. And she's going, I always go, where would you want to be by Christmas, or, by the summer, if it's the first half of the year? Where do you want to be 3 to 6, 12 months from now? And she's going, man, if I could get my book out, that would be great. Going in, doing all this stuff. And she's just wanted to do it for 20, 30 years. And I go, okay, good. What if I could told you we could do it in 6 months? She's like, oh man, I'd be blown away. 9 months would be great. 6 months. Is that even possible? I go, fantastic, we'll do it in 3. And my training at the time was a 12-week program.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to take that long. I have a new student that just started 2 days ago, and she says she's going to be the best one yet. And I'm curious how quick she's going to get it done, because I don't even think she'll need the 8 weeks, honestly. So Lori tells me this story. And she grew up in a biracial family in the 60s or 70s in Minnesota. She was adopted, and when she was 12, she lost her hand in a meat grinder. Now, a lot of people didn't even know this, and she's sharing it with me. So I'm humbled, and I totally don't take it lightly. She's sharing her life story with me, stuff she hasn't even shared with her closest friends. And now I have the opportunity of turning it into a book, having it be successful, and her convey everything she wants to.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is not what I was typical client before, but this is who I work with now. I really only work with people that are doing big things, that want to make an impact and give their customers a transformation. A lot of people go for a win-win. I go for a win-win-win. It's good for me, it's good for you and your customers.
Right.
So she's telling me this story, we get it out there, and I go, how do you feel? She goes, I feel so free, because there's stuff I put in here that now people are reading, and I've never told them before. Some of her closest friends that I had the pleasure of meeting when we had the VIP book launch party, which I recommend doing if you're launching a book. It's just good fun to bring it back in real life, and celebrate all wins. But she was sharing this story with them, and like half of our calls, I was crying on them. I'm like, I was just so honored she chose me to help her with it. But I was like, I thought I was uplifting and inspirational. She's really got the best attitude, because I'm like, I don't know if I could have went through all this, like, for real.
Yeah.
And so her success story was her dream was to speak and inspire and all this, which touched home to me. We got her book launched. She started getting speaking gigs, and back January, a couple months later, I believe was the month, they asked her to speak at Failure Lab with other well-known people in the area, and they even brought in some celebrities.
Wow,
and
nice.
I was like, this is fantastic. And that's what I really like to do, is go, okay, you're at here and you want to get here. Let's have some fun in the process, but we can definitely make this happen. And then when you get here, it doesn't mean you're going to be grinding the next 20 years.
Right.
But we do need to do a little bit of work initially.
Excellent. That's a great story. But that's all the time we have for today, Mary. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing sort of your journey and how you're helping people. Your passion comes across extremely well with what it is you're doing, and your true serving of other people. So I want to thank you so much. Like I said, I'm going to post all the contact links for Mario in the comments after the show. I'll put them in the show notes. So if you want to connect with Mario, and if you actually want to get his free download, you can do that as well. So everyone show Mario some love by sending some thumbs up, some heart icons going across the screen, and be sure to share this with your friends on Facebook and share the video as well. And Mario, it's been great having you on the show, and I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. For everyone else, just stick around. I'm just going to close out with some closing remarks. I'll be back in just a sec. Thanks, Mario.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we talked with a successful entrepreneur about their individual journey and what it really takes to become a successful entrepreneur. Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create our own life, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that is full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality time that we spend with others. Now, the first step to creating that desired outcome or achieving that desired outcome is really to show up. Working with coaches or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you get from where you are to where you want to be by shortening the time frame, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other to move ahead with their business. Now, the second step to create a life we envision for ourselves as entrepreneurs is to implement systems into your business, so that you can streamline the operations, leverage those systems, and free up your time to focus on your highest leverage activities. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return for your time invested, the ones that actually make you money. Now, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of video into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed, anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Because just being the best isn't enough in today's world if nobody knows who you are. If you want to gain exposure for your business, your brand, your product, or your service, then you need to employ some authority acceleration strategies that will help you get to where you want to be and attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint, the coaching program, or the mastermind, then contact me via my website, johnamccabe.com, or connect with me through the show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show, where we have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.